I'd like to start by letting you know that Liz Spencer, and she spells her name Lizspencer, LizSpencerBand.com is where you can go to get all the details and the dates that we're going to talk about. That's her website. You can also, of course, she's on all the socials. You can go to Liz Spencer Music on Facebook and Instagram as well. The new EP is going to be Angels and Arrows. We're going to be talking about that. She's here now. We're going to, I just want to make sure because I told everybody 10 o'clock, but I think it's silly not to welcome you to the show right now, Liz. Welcome. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thank you for coming out today. I am very, very appreciative that you made the trip here. Where did you make the trip from? Do you mind saying where you're based? Are you in Connecticut or are you out of state?
No, I'm in Rhode Island.
You are?
I am, but it's just over the border. It's 45 minutes.
Yeah.
It was not a terrible drive at all.
No. Well, you know what? Rhode Island is such a surprise wealth of talent. And, I bleed blue, so a lot of blues and stuff. But it's amazing, the amount of really incredible artists, solo bands that are in the area. And Rhode Island is certainly no slouch in that department. Absolutely. Is that where you're from Rhode Island?
I am. I've lived in Rhode Island my whole life. So
really?
I have.
Wow.
I'm just now getting to know the musicians and getting to experience the talent that is out there. And you're absolutely right. There are so many fantastic. And they're not only great musicians, but they're just great people.
Yeah.
I've loved getting to know everybody that I've been able to get to know through music. I'm just growing this whole social network that really gratifying.
And that says a lot because, some areas can be really cliquey and others can be very collaborative.
Yeah.
And especially when you're someone new and I'm sure your gorgeousness can be a blessing and a curse. Seriously. I mean, let's, if you haven't seen her, go to the website. And maybe we should pop on Facebook Live. But, I'm sure, people think, oh, well, she can't have a problem in the world. Look at how gorgeous she is and talented. But I'm sure it's also something that how do I say this? That, you're more than just the face that you were lucky enough to get,
Oh, well, thank you so much. Remind me to come back here.
Oh,
very
I
often.
will. I will.
Yeah, sometimes you have to prove yourself a little bit that there are some people who think that things are handed to me. I've heard rumors of that because I did kind of take off a little bit faster than even I expected. And there are people that think that there are reasons why.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of the music industry, there are a lot of men. So you have to be very careful when they ask the wrong questions. How'd you get into music? And are you single? I've heard that many, many times, and that's always my red flag for okay, this is not an avenue I'm going down.
Yeah.
I'm sure that happens to men too, though.
Yeah.
It's just, there are so many men in this field that see it as an opportunity sometimes to have an in. So, I'm not complaining. I mean, it definitely helps to have a certain look for sure.
Yeah.
But I don't want that to be what I'm about.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a face. I want to be a voice.
Yes, that's a great way to say it. And more than a voice, too, because you play guitar. Tell me, I know you're multi-instrumental. Do you also play bass?
I do play a little bit of bass,
yeah.
And I started out on piano.
Yeah.
So, but I'm not fantastic at bass or piano. I just play by ear, so it's just whatever I've been able to pick up. Guitar is really my main instrument and my voice.
Yeah.
But I've always loved. I was one of those kids who I could pick up an instrument and figure it out and start playing songs. And I put a post on my Facebook page a while back about how that sort of made me stand out among my siblings.
Yeah.
So I latched onto that really tight because I'm a middle child, And
how many? How are you out of
one
three?
Of four.
Four.
But the older ones are twins. My older sisters. Hello, Stephanie and Denise. They're identical twins, so they're amazing because they were the firstborn and they're identical. And then the youngest is my little brother, who's the only boy. So
the prince?
Yes, he's the baby, and he's the only boy, and I know he's my mother's favorite.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mom. But so I'm the middle child, and I'm the third girl, and I had to have something that made me stand out, and that's people would go, oh, wow, look what she can do. And I think that kind of started the attraction for me, but it definitely was something that was more just in my soul to do.
Yeah, so. Liz, was country music something you heard at home, or where did that come from?
I did not. I mean, my mother always had Patsy Cline on.
And
Kenny Rogers. I mentioned this at the fair that she would always dust to Kenny Rogers. But really, I credit my grandma Grace. She always had on the vinyl, and she always had on, she had Patsy Cline, and she had Waylon Jennings, and she was always playing Mamas, don't let your babies grow up to be cowboys. I remember hearing that song much. And that's actually one of the songs that we do and we'll be doing at a country fest. And I always dedicate it to her. But I really think I got into country, I think, because of 50s music, ironically. I grew up listening to a lot of my parents' records. And 50s country, 50s rock and roll is country and R&B. And because I picked up an acoustic guitar and I had all of this 50s influence, I think I hear that coming through. Like in Man in a Hurry, I heard a little bit of Eddie Cochran. Yeah. And I can hear a little bit of that influence coming through. So I think it's more so that growing up listening to all the 50s, listening to Chuck Berry, listening to Jerry Lee Lewis, that was kind of what was coming through more. But my grandma definitely gets credit for the country music, absolutely.
I want to talk a little bit about writing. Al Anderson, of NRBQ, we were having a conversation one day. He was out in Nashville for quite a long time. He was such a sought-after, songwriter and collaborator. And one of the things that he talked about was with the country music writing was developing the story. In a song. And, not that, especially the blues. I mean, my gosh, there's lots of stories in the blues, but it does seem to have just a different style of writing. Is that just to the ear, what I'm hearing, or when you approach a song in a country style, is there a different way that you approach it or that you actually produce a country song?
I think that country is all about genuine, true feeling. And I think that's another reason why I ended up writing country, because I don't know how to write anything but genuine, true feeling. I did go on a little venture with Annie Mine. I did some storytelling with that. That's more of just a story, but it was based on somebody that I know. But I think when you approach country music, you just have to approach it more from an emotion, more from a feeling, and wanting to express that. And I think, honestly, Nick Bossy, for me, is somebody who's very good at that, who's very talented. And I listened to one of his songs called I'm All Right, and it really spoke to me. And that, to me, is what country music is about. It's about that, getting that emotion out, getting that feeling out, and having something that everybody can connect to it. That's the amazing thing. If you write authentically and you write something that you feel like is only true to you, this is only my story, all these people will connect with it and say, thank you for writing that. I felt that. I understood that. And then you sort of realize that it's a universal language and that we're all kind of going through the same thing. And that's the beautiful part about country music to me, is it unifies us. It helps us understand we're all kind of going through that together.
Super brave. I'm looking up the clock. We're just about at 10. So I just want to remind everybody you are listening to WCNI New London, 90.9 FM. We have the pleasure of getting to have Liz Spencer in studio. If you are listening and you're like, I want to find her, well, you can do that by going to LizSpencerBand.com. That's her website. But let's stick on that topic because, writing from such a personal, from the heart like that, that's got to be I would think that's a huge leap of faith to put that out there. It's like you can't really hide behind a character or persona. It's like...
No. And now we have the reason why it took me so many years to put a song out. I've been writing songs since I was 15, and I didn't put anything out until 2 years ago.
Wow,
so,
Liz.
I know.
Good thing you didn't spontaneously combust, girl.
I know, but you have to reach that level of being secure enough in who you are to let other people see who you are. Wow. And I had to get to that point, and my friend Tommy had a lot to do with that, but it was very scary. And even still, I the song Down that I put out, that was probably one of the harder ones, because at first I thought I had written that about my best friend, and I could just tell me, oh, that was just about my best friend. And then I realized as I was recording it, I was down in Nashville recording, that no, that's about me. And it almost felt like I was just exposed, and this is my personal life, like on the air for everybody to hear. And it was a little scary, but I have to accept those parts of myself. I have to accept the shadows too. And I can't tell you how many people reached out with that one too and said, thank you for writing that. I understand that feeling too.
It's so brave. That's the song. It talks about going down the rabbit hole. Mm-hmm. I have chills.
Yeah. And it's really about the vices that we all have, even if it's not drugs or alcohol. I mean, we all have those moments where we know there's something that we shouldn't do. We know it's not healthy to do.
Self-medicating.
It's not good for us, but it's going to heal us in the moment and not the long term. So I think a lot of people identified with it in that way too.
Oh, what a blessing for you to be getting these lessons so young. I think that is so cool. And there's nothing wrong, for any of us more seasoned gals out there. To get it when you get it. It's all in our own time. But that is really a huge blessing to be at your stage of the game and realizing these things that, some people never get. We just keep on autopilot and you keep on going, but that's really cool, and it's extra cool that you're sharing it with us. I'm going to hit play on another tune, and I thought when we get back I could chat just a little bit. I want to send a shout out to Kate. I think it's such a fun story how we connected, but I want to take a breath literally, because I just feel so connected to Liz of stuff she's saying. Her music is so touching, and the way she's sharing, and the fact that so many of us have these, we're going to write that novel, we're going to climb that mountain, we're going to do that, this, that, or the other thing. Maybe she can share some more pearls of wisdom, and someone that's out there driving in their car and listening maybe will, feel the ripples of, the pebble this gal is throwing today. So I do hope that. If nothing else, I just hope that we'll keep you company. We're going to play some great music. I'm going to go with Working Class Hero Blues. Is that okay with you?
Perfect, yeah.
All right, let's give a play on that, and maybe after that, if it's okay, we could do a little Facebook Live. It's just that I've got you downloaded here, and I can't do that until.
Sure.
So I only have so many apparatus and modalities, my friends. So do stick around. If you're enjoying what you're hearing, let your friends know they don't need to be left out. They can get online at WCNIRadio.org. We're streaming on iHeart and TuneIn, and the show will be archived for 2 weeks. If you're not digging it, well then, never mind. Okay. All right, let's take a listen. Working Class Hero Blues right here on WCNI New London, 90.9 FM. Okay, I'm sorry I'm taking down right now, but I've got her right in studio, so we're gonna chat it up a little bit more. Liz Spencer is who we're talking to and listening to, and what a pleasure. I just think it's the music is one thing, but again, the inspiration is something else. But I cannot do this interview without a shout out to Kate. I don't know if she's going to hear this. We'll have to tag her and send her some kind of link to the archive. So I'm in New Orleans with Sarah right before French Quarter Fest. Went back, to really experience New Orleans when there really wasn't a big festival going on. Had a blast. But coming home, the delays on the planes and all this stuff, and she's freaking out. We finally get on our plane, and we're thinking we're never going to make our connection. And we get to wherever we were connecting, and we were literally kind of with these few other people stuck together, sweating, thinking, how are we getting home? It's like really late at night. And we met this wonderful gal. Her name is Kate. And so, we're sprinting through the airport. I'm way behind them because I don't run, even if there's a gun to my head. I'm just like trying to quickly sashay through, and we're with this gal, and then we start talking to her, and it turns out she was in New Orleans. She drove to New Orleans. She had, I hope she doesn't mind me saying this, but it's just such a cool story. She was going to, I think it was her brother she was going to visit in Africa, but her passport had expired, or she needed to up it. And the only place in the country, she's coming from, I believe, Rhode Island, was New Orleans. She got in her car and drove to New Orleans, leaves her car in New Orleans, goes to the one appointment to get her passport there, and then was flying back. And we were all together, and I was just in awe. I thought, what an amazing woman that just goes for it. Nothing standing in my way. I'm going to get that passport. I'm going to visit my brother. And so we got to talking, and, of course, the show here comes up because it's like my thing. I just love so much that I do. And she came up with you. She was the one that mentioned your name and said, I don't know if you do anything with a country bent to it. And I said, well, I'm always, excited and happy to listen to anyone new, and I certainly dig your music. And she got me the information, The other thing is, it took a while. I think, again, it's all about timing and the universe. Absolutely. It wasn't that I wasn't wanting to, connect with you. It's just that, things happen and blah, blah, blah. So, it's finally the timing was right. And I'm just so thrilled that she made the connection and that you're here today. So thank you, Kate. I'm not sure if you actually made it to Africa or not, but I have no doubt you are doing something really fabulous, and just want to thank you so much. And
absolutely, she's the best. She's honestly the best.
She just made me smile. I'll tell you, I was literally in awe of this woman. I mean, not only how fast she could run through an airport, she was just leaping things and going, but just the good energy she shared, and for this connection. So thank you so much, Miss Kate out there. Let's get back to your stuff here, Liz. We've been giving out the different sites people can go to, but you've got some really wonderful gigs coming up. We talked about I mentioned the annual Country Music Fest, and that's the third one I think they're doing.
Yes.
That they said. Mm-hmm. That's coming up on Saturday at Tamarack Lodge. Have you played the Lodge before?
I have not.
Mm-hmm.
I have not played it. I wanted to go last year, and I ended up having a gig. Mm-hmm. And who knew that the next year that would be my gig? But I'm really looking forward to it. I've heard only great things, and the guys that I'm playing with are all phenomenal musicians and people. I mean, honestly, I've gotten to know a few of them, and they're great people. But as singer-songwriters, they're fantastic. And I mean, if you've heard Nick Casey, you know the voice.
Yeah,
he's got that deep voice. And Nick Bossy's my all-time favorite voice. He's my all-time favorite vocalist. He beat out Sam Cooke, which was decades old.
Oh my gosh!
And Backroads, one of my favorite bands. They have amazing original songs too. So I'm just really proud to be in this lineup with them. Honestly, I just feel like this is an amazing opportunity to be on the same lineup with these guys. So really looking forward to it.
Really, really cool. Something else I want to mention that has a couple dates. It looks like it's a standing kind of gig here. And I want to ask about Troy. Liz and Troy at the Harborside. I know you have a date on June 17th and also the 15th of July, and then the following month, August the 4th. That's 2 Saturdays and a Friday. And is that East Greenwich or Greenwich?
It's pronounced Greenwich. Yeah.
Okay.
It should be East Greenwich, but we just say Greenwich.
All right. Well, that's where it is then. Those are a standing date, it looks like. Tell me about that. Is that also a new kind of gig for you, or is that returning?
No, Troy and I were the two originals. So when I started out wanting to get back into music and started into songwriting, it was kind of I've known Troy my whole life, literally, but I didn't know that he played guitar. Mm-hmm. And it had been kind of mentioned more recently. And then he happened to be at a farm when I was overcoming a fear and getting on a horse for the first time in years and years. And he was there, and we connected through that, and we started to play together. And it was just an immediate some people you connect with musically, and some people you just don't. And this was an immediate connection. And I happened to be going back into the studio the next day to re-record some guitar parts for Man in a Hurry. And I said, "What are you doing tomorrow?"
That's great.
And he was like, "Well, I guess I can make it." So he went in and he just made the song what it was.
Yeah.
So we started out together, just playing as a duo, and he got me up at my first open mic. I didn't want to go.
Wow.
It's something I'd always wanted to do, but I didn't have the confidence yet. And he was like, "No, we're going. Let's just go do it. Let's go do it." Which actually started the whole snowball, because there was a guy named Gary Briscoe there, and Hub Brennan was there, and they heard us. And they're in a fantastic group called the Sliding Capos. And they took us under their wing, and they started putting us in on their gigs and, just getting our names out there. And through them, we met our drummer, and through our drummer, we met our bassist, and the whole band came together. But originally, it was just me and Troy out there doing a duo thing.
So that's really cool. You're going to revisit that. And
we stick to it. We keep the duo thing together. Yeah.
That's very cool. Speaking of your band, when you go to LizSpencerBand.com and just on the landing page, scroll down, you can see the whole band. And I'm just curious if we can just talk a little bit about them. You've got, I'm going to let you pronounce their names, because I can pronounce Gene Washington.
Mean Gene. Mean Gene Washington.
Yeah. No, he's on bass, vocals, and guitar. Let's talk a little bit about your band that I see here on your website, and if they're with you, and how that all, if they're the recording guys, you're playing live guys. How does that work out for you?
Gene and Alan are in the band. They're our live guys. Troy comes down with me to Nashville and records guitar parts. But just logistically, we go down there and we have other musicians that play the other parts. But they are fantastic musicians in their own right, and I think all the time they're in other bands. They're in a band called The Noise, and Gina's in a band called Strum Dogs, and I watch them play, and I'm just in awe. I'm like, these are my guys. I can't believe these are my guys. They're just super fun to play with. And Alan met us through the Sliding Capos. He was a sub drummer.
Yeah.
And on a night I happened to be performing, and he approached me and said, if you ever need a drummer, I'm like, well, I happen to need a drummer. And that it just, some of these things feel like fate. You know, they just feel like it's not a coincidence.
Yeah.
Because we work together so well. I can't imagine doing this with any other group of guys, honestly.
Yeah.
And I think people can feel that and react to it when they hear us play, because we've had people come up to us and say, "That's, you guys are every person in that band brings something to the group."
Yeah.
And they really do. Everybody in this band is just talented in their own right, and it's been so much fun to work with them. You know, you really become family when you're in a band.
Yeah.
And they're definitely my family. So.
Oh, I'm sure they feel very lucky to have you as well. That's for sure. You know, a date during the season that comes up that is always a big one. There's always, you know, that one gig you want to get. And this is coming up for the 4th of July, which is such a big one. That's in Bristol, Rhode Island. Mm-hmm. And that is actually for their 4th of July celebration is happening on July the 2nd.
Yes.
And that's at Independence Park. It's is that a concert series? Tell me a little bit about that gig.
Yeah, we're going to be part of the concert series. We're on the final night of the series, which is huge for us. It's a very big night for them, and they're expecting about 2,000 people. It'll be the first time. I mean, I've never actually been to the Bristol 4th of July parade, so this will be a first for me also, and what a way to do it, honestly. But, yeah, this is definitely one of the highlights of the year for me, is this parade, the concert series. And I believe the person who reached out to us had seen us at the Washington County Fair. So it just, one of these things just keeps leading to another thing, and it's been progressing, and this is definitely... This is a big one for us.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to this one for sure.
So Bristol, again, Bristol, Rhode Island, that's Independence Park. It's on July the 2nd. Clearly a family-friendly kind of event. You can go to Liz's website to find out, and I'm sure that Bristol has a website as well. There's lots of information there, parking, all those kind of things. And, you know, I keep mentioning the website because when Angels and Arrows comes out, you know, I always like to send people to the actual artist's website. I think that it behooves them. You know, I mean, it's probably the best help you can get if you're going to buy someone's music, to do it directly. Or, again, you know, I was just playing, or actually I have queued up Miss Lauren Anderson, who's the cover of Sound Waves this month. Just love her so much. And one of the things she had said was that it really helps, you know, with touring musicians. It's their bread and butter is the merch stuff. So, you know, it's always great to really go personal. I get it. People want to stream. I mean, I download a lot of stuff for the show, but if you can make that effort to connect with the artist and get it personally. And then on the flip side, I think it was Tab Ben, I don't know who it was that said it to me, but, you know, if you sell a CD, maybe it was Mike Arnone that told me this. If you sell a CD, you get a fan, but if you sign it or you say hello to that person and you actually make that connection, you get a fan for life.
Yes.
So, you know, it's all about those personal connections, especially in a world where, you know, everyone's growing up with their face in the phone and a neck ache from just staring at the phone. So another great way to do it. At these events, is this something, do you bring any merch to or anything like that?
We don't. So, and this is what I was saying when I first walked in. So we've only been doing this for about a year and a half, which seems crazy because it feels a lot longer, and we've experienced so much since then. But like I was saying, I was all impressed that we got business cards finally. It's just, we're still trying to catch up. We had to learn, you know, we had gigs booked before we had a full set list.
Yeah.
I remember Troy and I having to get together at like 6 in the morning because it was the only time we had to get together to try and get a full set list together for a gig we had coming up. And we had to learn more songs. And, and you know, and of course, we're constantly trying to change the songs up and stuff. Yeah. So, yeah, we're still trying to get caught up. It moved a little faster than we thought it would. And we will get merch. I happen to have a brother who's an artist and a graphic designer who, hi Michael, maybe could get going on a little design for us. That is in the works. I did ask him about it, and Yeah, so
Light
that'll
that
be
fire.
that'll be coming soon. Actually, Nick asked me that. Are you going to have any merch at the Tamarack? And I said no, but I wish that I did. And if you want merch, go to my Facebook or my Instagram page and request it, and I'll make it happen. Because
and if Brother Mike doesn't do it, I've had other artists that put the call. I mean, look at Tedeschi Trucks. They put out a call to artists to see what comes back.
Yeah.
Another one, Jake Kulak's sister Juliana is amazing. She has been putting out the graphics for him, and they are, they're crazy good. Like almost like in a Peter Max kind of style, retro, really cool. So it's another wonderful way. It's another wonderful expression of your art, of your craft, I think. So you really have to have that connection. You don't want it to be completely disjointed, but
right.
Go ahead.
That's probably another part of it is when I first started out, I wasn't really sure what my brand was. I'm still trying to figure out what I am as an artist, who I am as an artist, and you don't want to have something that's way off from what your music sounds like. And I've only put out a few songs. I'm still kind of figuring out my sound. I'm still kind of figuring out my style. But it's coming together. It's coming together quickly now.
Yeah.
So that's probably been a little bit of the hold up too. But we will have something. We will.
You can't rush perfection. And I got to tell you, I'm hoping that a whole bunch of listeners out there will remember they heard her first right here with Morning Mojo on WCNI New London, 90.9 FM. I won't keep you much longer, but I do want to ask about the covers. How you pick a cover? Is it intimidating? How does that work? Is it a personal decision or is it a band decision? How does that work?
They come about a few different ways. Some of them are just songs that we like. We're like, hey, let's try this. The best ones, in my opinion, are the ones that just kind of pop up during practice. Somebody will start playing a riff, and then we'll all join in, and we'll go, you know what, that sounded really good. And one thing that we do, we don't really play the songs the way that they're played on the albums. We kind of, it's like a paintbrush, you put your own spin, your own style on it. And a lot of people have actually commented at gigs like, wow, you guys have no fear. And that, maybe I'm just naive. I don't understand the fear. I don't understand why you wouldn't want to just play what you like and what you love and what you think other people would respond to. And then play it in a way that makes sense to you, or that, we've done Beatles in like swing style, we kind of have a running joke.
I love that.
Yeah, everything can be turned into reggae. We kind of have a running joke about that. Like every song at practice, we're like, how would this sound as reggae? And we'll kind of jump into it. But we just have fun with it. I think people want to see that you're having fun and you're enjoying what you're doing, and it's coming straight from you. So generally, we just play what feels good and what we like, or what happens to come up in practice. And so far, so good. I mean, we play the cover stuff. We play everything from Michael Jackson to Tom Petty to the Beatles and Janis Joplin. And
love it.
There's no real one area we won't go into. Because I think my guys are talented enough; they can play anything. Yeah, honestly. And why wouldn't you then? Yeah. Why wouldn't you just jump in?
Liz, I think you really hit on something I say a lot, that it's so important to please yourself, because what when you're putting something out and people are gravitating towards it, that's what they want. They like what you're doing. And the minute, you start trying to fit into a mold or please this audience or that audience or a record company or whatever it is, I just think that a lot of times the artist gets off track. It's all about what we fell in love with. So, more power to you. Keep honoring, your craft, what your heart says, your passion. And, I'm not even going to wish you luck. I mean, just continued success. I don't think you need luck, girl. You got skills. Lots of skills.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Well, it's truly sincere. What we're going to do is I want to, again, let you know where you can find Liz. We're going to play out with a tune. I don't think I've played this one. It's called, it's a single. Lesson you never learned. Mm-hmm. Is that okay if we do that one?
Absolutely.
Not that I don't want to play down, but I don't want to cry.
No, that's a tough one. It's a little early for down, I think. Yeah. But maybe check it out later on.
Absolutely. Well, that's the hook, everybody. Why don't you go on and you can check it out yourself. I was listening to it on the way in. Might even play it a little later on in the show today, but we'll go ahead and play that in just a minute. After I remind you one more time that LizSpencerBand.com is where you can go to check out Liz. She has a really great Instagram page as well, and that's at Liz Spencer Music. She does have Facebook. It's just you don't do Facebook as much.
Not as much. I'm mostly on Instagram, yeah.
Okay. And you know what? I think I forgot one date, though, I wanted to make sure I mentioned. The second annual New Bedford. That's in Massachusetts. It's a country festa.
Yes.
What's a festa?
Well, I believe, and I had to learn this too recently, it's pronounced fasta.
Oh, okay.
It's Portuguese.
Oh.
So that's going to be, that's another big event that we're really looking forward to, the Country Music Festa.
Wow.
It's at Mattier Field, and tickets are on my, there's a link on my bio on my Instagram page, and you can purchase tickets for that as well, and there are going to be vendors there also, and that's going to be a really fun time. There are great musicians coming to that, and looking forward to that one.
And if it's a Portuguese festa?
Yes.
That means food.
Yes.
That means
great
Portuguese
food.
Hello. I literally just started like salivating. You said Portuguese. So lots of great things. You know, that's the beauty of this platform. I love sharing these wonderful events with you guys. Lots of reasons to get out and enjoy the season. You know, it wasn't too long ago that we were all stuck on our couches praying for this kind of stuff. So I hope you'll remember that and, you know, lend support to these wonderful artists like Liz Spencer, just like you would to the Taylor Swifts and the, you know, the $1,000 tickets you're paying for other things, because they are just chock full of talent, and you never know when you're going to find your next favorite. So I do hope you will check her out. I'll tell you what, we're going to play our way out with Lessons You Never Learned, and let me make sure I've got this going here. I think I've got it right here. So when did this one, this is 2022, this one came out?
Yes. This was the first song I recorded with my producer, Tim Quick. And it was my first trip down to Nashville, and it was so much fun. And I loved, you know, this is where I connected with Tim and figured out that we work really well together. So there's a lot of that energy in this song, which is why it stands out to me.
Wonderful. Well, Liz, thank you so much for coming in. I so appreciate you.
Thank you. This was fun.
I hope you'll come back, and, you know, you never know where else you'll see her through the season. You know, we just mentioned a few dates. She has some other ones, and you never know where she'll pop up on the festival circuit or, you know, other venues. So lots of different reasons to check out the website. The song is Lesson You Never Learned, right here with Allie doing Morning Mojo on WCNI New London 90.9 FM.